It's fascinating, isn't it? Why some entrepreneurs just seem to click. They attract customers, they inspire their teams, close those big deals, while others, maybe with equally brilliant ideas, just struggle.
Yeah, it's a real puzzle sometimes. Is it just, luck? Or is there something more?
Well, we've been digging into some really interesting research, and it turns out um, understanding persuasion, like the psychology behind it, it plays a huge role,
Yeah,
much bigger than you might think.
absolutely. We've gathered some compelling findings, yeah, that really get to the heart of why some influence strategies work like gangbusters and others just fall completely flat.
Right. So think of this deep dive as your shortcut, basically. We've
Hmm.
sifted through the studies, the data, to pull out those key insights, those aha moments that can give you a real edge.
Mhm.
Whether you're, negotiating a partnership, trying to motivate your team, or even just trying to understand influence better, this look into the psychology of persuasion is definitely for you.
Yeah, we're aiming to give you practical, maybe even surprising takeaways you can actually use. No dense academic stuff.
Exactly. And we've structured it around 7 key areas, a kind of framework, really, for any entrepreneur wanting to be more persuasive.
We're calling it the Entrepreneur's Guide to Persuasion Psychology. 7 essential insights. Catchy, right?
Huh, I like it. So what are these 7 insights? Lay them out for us.
Okay, first up, thinking with the end in mind. The power of outcome-based thinking.
Okay, OBT. Got it.
Then we'll get into the fundamentals with unlocking influence, mastering the 9 laws of persuasion.
The 9 laws. Intriguing.
Next, something often overlooked. Actions speak volumes, leveraging nonverbal communication.
Ah, the unspoken stuff. Important.
Fourth, gaining that strategic edge. Know your audience. The entrepreneurial advantage of intelligence gathering.
The knowledge is power, right?
You bet. Then, number 5, speak their language, decoding and adapting to communication styles.
Meeting people where they are.
Sixth, focuses on connection. Connect and conquer. The art and science of building rapport.
Can't persuade someone who doesn't like or trust you. Makes sense.
And finally, the crucial last step, closing the deal. The necessity of asking until you succeed.
Ah, the ask. You gotta ask. All right, sounds like a comprehensive roadmap. Ready to dive into the first one? Thinking with the end in mind.
Let's do it. Outcome-based thinking. It sounds simple, maybe even obvious, but there's a depth to it.
Right, so OBT, it's not just setting goals like increase sales by X%, is it? It's more.
It's more about vividly picturing the specific result you want from any interaction, any strategy, really seeing that successful outcome.
And crucially, not just your desired outcome, right? But understanding theirs too.
Precisely. That's the key shift, moving from just your steps to the shared tangible outcome.
Okay, so why is this so powerful for persuasion?
Well, first off, it makes your message razor sharp. When you know exactly the result you're aiming for and the result they want, you tailor everything.
So instead of just listing product features,
Right. You connect those features directly to their success, how it helps them achieve their desired outcome. You're painting a picture of their win.
like saying, our analytics give you insights to boost your marketing ROI by 15%, not just we have analytics.
Exactly that. You're speaking their language, the language of results, and, it brings incredible clarity to everything. Your team, your communication, everyone knows the target. Less wasted effort.
Yeah, avoids people running off in different directions, doing busy work that doesn't actually lead anywhere specific.
And that clarity, it boosts your confidence. When you can clearly visualize success, you communicate with more conviction.
And confidence is contagious, isn't it? It's persuasive in itself. People buy into that belief.
Absolutely. Now, flip side, what happens if you don't use OBT? What are the pitfalls?
Well, aimlessness, I guess.
Yes.
Your strategies feel vague, communication lacks punch, you're wandering.
Right. And that leads to misaligned teams, people working hard, maybe, but not on the things that actually move the needle towards the real goal. Total inefficiency.
And from a persuasion angle, if you haven't figured out what your client really wants, their desired end state, your pitch just misses. It doesn't resonate.
You fail to connect. Think about some big U.S. companies. Salesforce, their whole platform is built around achieving specific sales outcomes.
Yeah.
Their dashboards literally visualize that progress.
Yeah, they sell the result, not just the software.
Or Amazon launching something new. You know they've modeled the heck out of customer adoption, market share, the specific outcome they're driving towards.
And Tesla, with their big vision of sustainable energy, that outcome drives everything. Product, marketing, the whole story.
Totally. Now think about competitors who maybe aren't doing this.
Okay, so maybe a CRM company focuses only on features, tech specs, but doesn't show how it actually leads to more sales or better retention, the client outcome.
Yeah, or an EV company with a great car, technically, but no story connecting it to that bigger sustainability outcome people might be motivated by.
Or a retailer launching stuff they think is cool, but without really digging into what problem the customer is trying to solve, what experience they actually want. Product bombs.
It happens all the time. So for listeners, how do they start using OBT, like practically?
It seems like the key is, before any important interaction, sales call, negotiation, team meeting, whatever, just pause. Ask, what's the ideal win-win outcome here?
For me and for them.
Right. Visualize that shared success. That picture then becomes your guide for everything you say and do.
And you tailor your message directly to how you help them get their win.
Because ultimately, people aren't buying your thing, are they? They're buying the better future state, the solution to their problem, the feeling your offering provides.
Exactly. They're buying the outcome. Okay, ready for insight number 2? The 9 laws of persuasion.
All right. Unlocking influence. Mastering the 9 laws of persuasion. Sounds powerful. What are these laws, essentially?
Think of them as like the psychological operating system for decision-making. Underlying forces that shape why we say yes. Understanding them gives you a framework.
A framework for influencing people more, predictably.
Yeah, and ethically, hopefully.
Yeah.
It helps anticipate responses, makes your efforts more effective because you're working with human nature, not against it.
So it's not about manipulation. We should stress that.
No, not at all. It's about creating win-wins by understanding these deep-seated tendencies. But what if you ignore them?
Well, your persuasion attempts are probably hit or miss, right? Marketing falls flat, sales pitches don't connect, you're flying blind, psychologically speaking.
And you miss chances to connect. Like ignoring reciprocity, our urge to return favors, or the law of liking, we listen more to people we like. Those are huge.
Yeah, and how do you handle objections if you don't grasp consistency, wanting to stick to our commitments, or scarcity, wanting what's hard to get?
Exactly. Look at Costco. Brilliant use of scarcity. Those limited time deals while supplies last, it creates instant urgency.
Oh yeah, that giant teddy bear suddenly seems essential when there are only 3 left.
Exactly. And Amazon. They're masters. Reciprocity with free shipping, conformity with all those reviews, we trust the crowd, and scarcity with only X left.
Those low stock warnings get me every time. Makes you click buy now faster.
And LinkedIn uses association effectively, right? Seeing endorsements from people you know builds credibility for that person.
True. So what mistakes do competitors make by not using these?
Well, a Costco rival might have sales, but no real urgency. The deals just sit there, no trigger.
No FOMO, fear of missing out.
Right. Or an e-commerce site without reviews or recommendations. They're missing conformity and reciprocity, no social proof, no initial value hook.
And a networking site without endorsements. It's just harder to gauge someone's credibility. Missed opportunity for association.
Definitely. So how can entrepreneurs listening start weaving these laws into their business?
It's about being mindful, I think. Look for chances. Offer value first. That's reciprocity. Free content, helpful advice.
Yeah, or use contrast. Show a standard option before the premium one, making the premium seem more appealing.
And definitely nurture relationships. Build that trust and connection. That's the law of liking right there. People buy from people they like.
Fundamentally, trust and liking are prerequisites. Okay, moving from the psychological laws to something more physical, nonverbal communication.
Right. Actions speak volumes.
Yeah.
Leveraging nonverbal communication. You mentioned this can be way more impactful than words.
Yeah, the research suggests it can be anywhere from like 2 to 7 times more powerful. Our body language, tone, eye contact, it carries immense weight.
Wow, 7 times. So being good at nonverbals, what are the big wins?
Huge boost in trust and credibility. When your body language matches your words, you seem authentic, believable.
Yeah, you get that gut feeling when someone's saying yes, but their body is screaming no. You trust the body language.
Exactly. And it's key for rapport. Mirroring posture, good eye contact. It creates that subconscious connection, like you're in sync.
Signals, I'm with you.
Right. And projecting confidence, non-verbally good posture, steady gaze, purposeful gestures, makes your message way more compelling. You just command more attention.
Okay, so the downside. What happens when our nonverbals are off?
It totally undermines your message. If your nonverbals contradict your words, trust evaporates. People question your sincerity, your confidence.
So I could have the best pitch ever, but if I'm fidgeting and looking at the floor, game over.
Pretty much. It also makes it hard to connect. Crossed arms, no eye contact, signals disinterest, defensiveness, kills rapport.
And appearing unsure non-verbally just tanks your influence,
Right.
right? Less authority.
Totally. Think about companies that nail this. Apple Store staff trained to be approachable, make eye contact, open posture, builds instant trust.
They always seem genuinely helpful.
Or high-end real estate agents, their polished appearance, confident manner, how they show the house, it's all influencing the buyer.
Creates that premium feel.
And TED Talk speakers, they're coached intensely on stage. Presence, posture, gestures, movement to maximize impact.
Right. So common nonverbal blenders we see.
Oh, plenty. Bored retail staff avoiding eye contact. Major turnoff.
Makes you walk right out.
Or a sloppy, unprepared real estate agent. Instantly damages their credibility.
You want someone who looks like they know what they're doing.
Exactly. Or the classic monotone presenter stuck behind a lectern. No energy, no engagement. Puts everyone to sleep, even if the content is good.
Guilty as charged sometimes, probably.
Yeah.
So how do we get better at this for entrepreneurs?
It starts with self-awareness. Pay attention. How's your posture, your tone, eye contact, use of space? Try to align verbals and nonverbals.
Practice confident posture, maybe. Make eye contact.
Yes, and become a keen observer of others. Watch their nonverbals. Are they engaged, confused? Adapt your approach based on those cues.
So be present, basically. Not just what you say, but how you present the whole package.
That's it. The whole presentation matters. Okay, now how do we know who we're presenting to? That brings us to intelligence gathering.
Right. Know your audience. The entrepreneurial advantage of intelligence gathering. Seems basic, but I bet the devil's in the details.
You got it. Everyone knows they should understand their audience, but the depth and intentionality of that understanding, that's the differentiator. Influence isn't one size fits all.
So really digging deep into their needs, values, desires. What are the big payoffs?
Tailored messaging, number one. When you get what motivates them, their pain points, their dreams, you speak directly to what matters. Your message lands.
It resonates because it's relevant to them.
Exactly. And you can anticipate objections. If you understand their world, you know what concerns might pop up. Address them proactively. Builds huge trust.
Because you've really thought about their perspective.
And honestly, just the act of gathering that intelligence shows you care. It demonstrates genuine interest, which naturally builds stronger relationships.
Makes sense. So the risk of not doing this homework.
Irrelevant pitches. Great product, maybe, but if it doesn't solve their specific problem or align with their goals, total miss.
Talking past each other.
Completely. And you'll struggle with resistance. If you don't know why they're hesitant, how can you possibly address it effectively?
And it's just a massive waste of time and money, right? Marketing to the wrong people, sales efforts falling flat.
Absolutely. Look at who does this well. Netflix. Their whole algorithm is about deeply understanding viewer preferences to personalize everything.
They know what I want to watch before I do, sometimes. Scary, but effective.
Right. Or P&G, they do insane amounts of market research before launching anything. They know the consumer need.
Not just guessing. Data-driven.
And political campaigns, constant polling, data analysis, tailoring messages to specific voter groups. It's all audience intelligence.
Okay, so where did competitors mess up?
A streaming service with just generic content, no personalization, loses out to the Netflixes of the world.
Doesn't feel relevant.
Or a company launching a product based on internal ideas, not actual market needs. Big gamble, often fails.
And a political campaign with one generic message for everyone. Fails to connect personally.
Yep. So for entrepreneurs listening, how do they make intelligence gathering practical?
It's about mindset, isn't it? Be curious. Listen actively. Ask open-ended questions. Tell me more about that. What's your biggest challenge with X?
Exactly. Dig into market research. Analyze your customer data. Really try to understand their world, their pressures, what they're trying to achieve.
Like a doctor diagnosing before prescribing. Got to understand the problem first.
Precisely. Prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. Gather that intel first. All right, so you've gathered the intel. Now, how do you communicate effectively? That's adapting to communication styles.
Ah, yes. Speak their language, decoding and adapting to communication styles. This sounds key to avoiding clashes.
It really is. People just process info differently. Some are logical, some emotional, some direct, some indirect. Recognizing and adapting to their style. Huge persuasive boost.
So what are the benefits of flexing your style like that?
Well, they're just more receptive. When you talk in their preferred mode, the message gets through easier. Less friction.
Like tuning into their frequency.
Perfect analogy. And it cuts down misunderstandings dramatically. Clearer communication happens when you speak their language.
And it builds connection, right?
Right.
Feeling understood on a communication level must build trust.
Definitely. Now, the downside of not adapting, sticking rigidly to your style.
Communication breakdown. Messages misinterpreted, ignored.
Yeah. Or just frustration. Clashing styles can make people tune out, get defensive, disengage.
And you miss opportunities just
Yeah.
because you didn't connect on that basic communication level.
Think about companies that train for this. Customer service teams learning to spot if a customer is analytical or relational and adjusting.
Right, you wouldn't dump data on someone who just wants empathy first.
Exactly. Or sales training, focusing on identifying prospect styles,
Yeah.
analytical, driver, amiable, expressive, and tailoring the pitch.
Meeting them in their zone.
Team building workshops often do this too, helping colleagues understand each other's styles for better collaboration.
So common mistakes here.
The super assertive driver salesperson overwhelming a quiet, relationship-focused, amiable prospect makes them shut down.
Too much, too fast.
Or the purely logical customer service rep totally missing the emotional cues from an upset customer. Solves the problem, maybe, but leaves them feeling unheard.
Fails the human connection test.
And the manager with a one-size-fits-all communication approach fails to motivate the diverse styles on their team.
So how do we get better at decoding and adapting?
Start simple. Try to spot
Yeah.
logical or emotional, assertive or passive. Listen to their pace, tone, focus details versus big picture, facts versus feelings, energy level.
Observe clues.
Right. Then consciously try to mirror some of that. More data for the analytical type, more enthusiasm and relationship building for the expressive one, more results focus for the driver.
Operate in their channel,
Yeah,
essentially.
you got it. Okay, 6 key insight. Building that foundation. Rapport.
Connect and conquer. The art and science of building rapport. Feels like everything else rests on this.
It really does. Establishing respect, trust, and just plain liking early on. Absolutely critical. Without rapport, your arguments, no matter how brilliant, often just bounce off.
So the benefits of good rapport. Obvious maybe, but let's spell them out.
Increase trust, fundamentally. It creates safety, openness. People listen more when they trust you.
Makes sense.
Smoother communication, less misunderstanding, easier flow. You're on the same team, essentially.
And better persuasion, ultimately. We're just more open to people we like and trust. Simple as that.
Exactly. Now, what if you skip this? Or just fail to build it?
Distrust and resistance right off the bat. Skepticism, walls go up.
Communication becomes strained, difficult, hard to find common ground.
And your perfectly logical points might get shot down just because they don't have that connection with you.
It happens all the time. Think about companies that prioritize rapport. Zappos, legendary for customer service, calls focused on connection, not just efficiency.
They empower reps to just chat and build that relationship.
Or your local Starbucks barista who knows your name. That little bit of personal connection builds loyalty.
Makes you feel seen, not just like transaction, #472.
And small local businesses. They often thrive because of those personal relationships. Rapport is their competitive advantage.
So where do companies mess up rapport-wise?
Big impersonal corporations often struggle with loyalty compared to those small businesses, right? Lack of personal connection.
Feeling like a number.
Salespeople laser-focused only on the close, steamrolling the relationship-building part, alienates people fast.
Feels transactional, pushy.
And relying only on automated interactions, bots can't build real human rapport. Missed opportunity.
True. So how do we actively build rapport? Actionable stuff.
Focus on genuine connection. Subtly mirror their body language, tone, create subconscious alignment, show sincere interest, ask questions, really listen.
Active listening, not just waiting to talk.
Right. Confirm understanding. So if I hear you right, ask about their values, needs, and empathy. Acknowledge their feelings. Show you get it. Remember, people like people who are like them or who they feel are like them.
Find that common ground. Okay, final piece of the puzzle. The close.
Yes. Closing the deal. The necessity of asking until you succeed. All the rapport and great arguments mean nothing if you don't actually ask.
Right. You can lead the horse to water, but you got to actually ask it to drink.
Huh. Something like that. And often you need to ask more than once, strategically.
Okay, so benefits of asking multiple times, without being annoying, obviously.
Biggest one. Just increases your odds of a yes. Persistence, done right, with understanding, can move people from maybe to commitment.
Shows you believe in it.
Exactly. It also helps uncover hidden objections. Sometimes the real reason for hesitation only comes out after the second or third ask, when they feel you're really listening.
Yeah, it gets past the surface level stuff.
And asking confidently just reinforces the value. It says, I believe this is right for you.
So, consequence of not asking enough. Giving up too soon.
Lost sales, obviously. Deals left on the table because you didn't make the clear ask when they were close. People need that nudge sometimes.
Often. Without a clear call to action, they might just drift, procrastinate, go elsewhere.
And it creates uncertainty. No closure. Things just hang in limbo if there's no decisive ask.
Industry is known for persistent asking.
Telemarketing, fundraising, they train for multiple attempts, handling objections, specific closing lines.
They definitely don't stop at the first no.
Car dealerships, too. Lots of follow-up, different angles, trying various closes.
Masters of the multi-ask approach.
And subscription services. Free trial, then follow-ups, incentives, nudging you towards subscribing.
Okay, so mistakes competitors make by being too timid.
Salesperson hears, let me think about it, takes it as a final no, and never follows up. Huge missed potential.
That initial hesitation often isn't rejection.
Right. Or a company sends one marketing email, no follow-up sequence, leaving tons of conversions behind. People need multiple touches.
And the entrepreneur who pitches once gets a maybe, and then silence. Loses out on funding or partnerships.
For sure. So how do we master this art of asking?
First, just be willing to ask. Clearly, confidently. Don't fear rejection so much you avoid the ask altogether.
And learn to tell the difference between a real no and just hesitation or needing more info.
Crucial. Keep building rapport. Address concerns that come up between asks. And learn some closing techniques. Assumptive close, alternative choice, future pace. Have tools in your belt.
Be persistent but respectful. Read the room. Adjust. Don't be obnoxious.
Exactly. Persistent and perceptive, not pushy.
Like the saying goes, ask and you will receive. Or at least you dramatically increase your chances.
Well, there we have it. 7 essential insights from the psychology of persuasion, tailor-made for entrepreneurs. From thinking with the end in mind.
To mastering those 9 laws, leveraging nonverbals, knowing your audience, speaking their language.
Building that crucial rapport, and finally, having the courage and skill to ask until you succeed.
Applying these principles, even starting small, can really amplify your strategic influence and ultimately your business success.
So here's something to chew on. As you listen today, which one of these 7 really jumped out at you? Which principle could you start implementing, maybe even tomorrow, in one specific interaction?
And what surprising result might you see just from that one small shift?
It's about taking these ideas off the page or out of your headphones and putting them into practice.
Absolutely. Think about your own experiences, maybe dig deeper into the area that resonated most.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one. You know, it's fascinating, isn't it? Why some entrepreneurs just seem to click, they attract customers, they inspire their teams, close those big deals, while others, maybe with equally brilliant ideas, just struggle.
Yeah, it's a real puzzle sometimes. Is it just, luck? Or is there something more?
Well, we've been digging into some really interesting research, and it turns out understanding persuasion, like the psychology behind it, it plays a huge role.
Yeah.
Much bigger than you might think.
Absolutely. We've gathered some compelling findings, that really get to the heart of why some influence strategies work like gangbusters and others just fall completely flat.
Right. So think of this deep dive as your shortcut, basically. We've sifted through the studies, the data, to pull out those key insights, those aha moments that can give you a real edge. Whether you're, negotiating a partnership, trying to motivate your team, or even just trying to understand influence better, this look into the psychology of persuasion is definitely for you.
Yeah, we're aiming to give you practical, maybe even surprising takeaways you can actually use. No dense academic stuff.
Exactly. And we've structured it around 7 key areas, a kind of framework, really, for any entrepreneur wanting to be more persuasive.
We're calling it the Entrepreneur's Guide to Persuasion Psychology. 7 essential insights. Catchy, right?
Huh, I like it. So what are these 7 insights? Lay them out for us.
Okay, first up, thinking with the end in mind. The power of outcome-based thinking.
Okay, OBT. Got it.
Then we'll get into the fundamentals with unlocking influence, mastering the 9 laws of persuasion.
The 9 laws. Intriguing.
Next, something often overlooked. Actions speak volumes, leveraging nonverbal communication.